Hey y'all, welcome to Pleiadian Point of View. I'm Peyton with Peyton Energetics, and I'm a Pleiadian channel. So in this week's Point of View, the Pleiadians wanted to help us out a little bit because, as y'all have probably noticed, over the past couple of weeks and even months, things have gotten a little dicey in the world around us. A little alarming, actually. So the Pleiadians wanted to help us navigate this a little more easily as we see what can sometimes appear to be the 3D world coming apart at the seams. So what the Ps wanted to share with us in this week's Point of View is to talk to us about the importance of pulling our energetic investment out of anything we're seeing in the world that we don't support. Because as the Pleiadians like to explain, we have created it all. Their mantra is, it's all you. So if that's the case, and we have created what we see as kind of a mess around us right now, how do we undo that? So what the Ps have been focusing on lately is encouraging us to withdraw our energetic investment, like we are pulling our money out of the bank. Because as they like to explain, anything that we have created in the world around us, especially anything that has charge, that is getting us kind of riled up in our emotions, has our energy invested in it. Our energy is supporting that thing. So as we are all going through the ascension process and creating a beautiful new world, as the Pleiadians like to explain, we have to pull our energy out of the old world. And that's what we're in the process of doing right now. So the Ps are encouraging us because they know our human tendency is to look at what's happening in the world. And recently things have gotten a little alarming. So one thing that we are very tempted to do as humans, and I catch myself on the edge of doing this all the time, is we want to react emotionally. Right? We see that story on the news, we see something on social media, and we want to play with it. The mind wants to get involved, to start spinning out, to get into anger or fear or hopelessness. But as we do that, as we get into an emotional tug of war with whatever story we are seeing that day, we stay engaged with it. We keep it active. Or another way you can look at it is you stay on that thing's timeline. And that's not what we want to be doing right now. So what the Pleiadians are encouraging us to do instead, as we look at those things that we don't want to see in our world anymore, is to pull our energy out of it. Just imagining that we are vacuuming or suctioning all of our energy out of that thing. Whether it is something we are seeing that is unfair or harmful to people, just holding that thing in our imagination and imagining that we are pulling our energy out of it. Because a couple things happen as we do this. First of all, we unentangle ourselves from that thing. We're not propping it up anymore or feeding it with our energy. Because when we do that human thing we love to do, where we start to obsess about it, think about it all day long, let it ruin our day, we continue to feed it. We stay tangled up with it. And the more we get amped up about that, get into anger or fear, the more we glue it to ourselves. We really activate it when we do that. So we kind of want to do the opposite. So what the Pleiadians are offering as a suggestion, whenever that thing comes up on the news or you see it when you're scrolling, is to pull your energy back from it, just using your imagination. Like you are calling anything you have invested in that thing that keeps it in your reality, you're pulling your investment out. And as you do that, you start to release that thing from your reality because you're not in a fight mode with it anymore. You're not in battle mode with it. It's that fight which creates what we love to talk about in the spiritual community, resistance. And that's what keeps these things active in our reality. So as we look out at the world that is really struggling right now, what we can do is start to pull our energetic investment back, pull it out. And as we do that, we start to remove our consent from that thing. It starts to fade out of our reality because we're not supporting it or feeding it with our energy anymore. So according to the Pleiadians, our goal is to be able to look at what's happening around us and stay neutral. We can look at these things and realize we don't choose them. It's not our preference, but we allow them to be. And we do that by being able to look at it without having an emotional reaction to it. Almost as if you are looking at someone who's wearing an outfit that you wouldn't choose. You don't really let that ruin your day, do you? You may look at it and be like, well, that's an interesting choice. But then you just shrug your shoulders and you go on with your day. And that's what we want to be doing with these negative things that we are seeing in our reality, is to be able to look at them, pull our energy out of it, but not invalidate it. Because if we're making these things wrong, and we love to do this in the spiritual community, right? We love to blame the bad guys or get frustrated with the people who haven't woken up. But as we do that, we're keeping the emotional charge alive. So we keep feeding it. So instead, if we pull our energy out of it, we have that energy to send in a more constructive direction. So this is how we re-architect our reality, is by pulling our energy out of what we don't want to see anymore. So those things that you see going on in the world that are making your blood boil a little, it's helpful to practice pulling your energy out of it, bringing that energy back into your heart space, because as you do that, it becomes creative fuel, which means it is fuel that's available for you to manifest something better. But we have to pull our energy back from the old system. Otherwise, we don't have creative fuel to create with. So this is something the Pleiadians are encouraging us to play with. It is their suggestion for us for this week, is to view these negative things or even negative manifestations that you may be seeing in your life right now. View them as pockets of energy. And once you pull your energy out of it, you're not feeding that thing anymore. And what happens is you start to release it from your reality. So this is how we start to cut the strings that are connecting us to all those things in the world that we don't want to support anymore, which is pretty much our entire old reality. So you are always the architect of your reality, and you control where you invest your resources. So the Pleiadians are encouraging us to pull our energetic deposits out. So that is what they wanted to share with us in this week's point of view. Let me know in the comments below, how are you dealing with these energies? They have not been easy. So drop that in the comment box below. And while you're down there, don't forget, click the subscribe button and the like button if you haven't done that yet. I'll see you soon. Bye.